Hello, my name is Teddy, and today we're going to look at object-oriented programming in Python. So specifically, we're going to look at classes in Python. So everything in Python is considered an object, ranging from variables, or what we call properties, up to functions, or what we call methods in Python. So we're going to look at how to construct or to create these classes. So an object constructor or a blueprint of an object is what we're referring to as a class. Just to give examples, you can have a car. A car has a model, has the year of manufacturing. So those are what we call properties of that car. And the car itself can move. So it has a method called moving. Okay. So let's start with an example. Let's create a class of a person. Say class, then person. Okay. Then full colon. Then inside here we assign properties and say name equals to, or initialize property and say name equals to test. Then let's add another property, age equals to 19. Okay. So for us now to get an object of this class, we say x equals to person. Okay. Then round brackets. Okay. Then for us to print now the property of that person, which is name and age, we say print. Okay. X dot name. Okay. Then we print also the age and say x dot age. Okay. So if we run this, we are going to get test 19. So here we have got the properties of that object. Okay. So our object is person, and then we have the name, then the age. So that's a simple way of creating a class. So if we want to add a function into a class, we say define a person can move. Okay. So that's a function. So we add self here just to know that this method belongs to that class. Then we say return or print return I am moving or I am walking. Okay. So that's the action, which is what we call the method. Okay. So for us now to print the method, we say print x dot move. Okay. So if we run this, we are going to get I am walking. So you can see in our class we have the property, which is the name and age, and then the method which is move. Okay. So we have defined our class in a simple way. So we are going to look at the best way of how to initialize our properties of a class. So we're going to use the function called init. As the above one that we have created, this one is not the optimal one. Okay. Is not that practical. So we are going to start our class and say person, and then we use a function called init, inbuilt function called init. So the first keyword has to, or parameter has to be self, as it belongs, it shows that that function or variables will belong to that class. Okay. Then we say name, then we say age. Okay. So there we have initialized our parameters. Okay. So and then you assign those parameters values. Okay. Self dot name equals to name. Okay. Self dot age equals to age. Okay. So looking here, we have assigned values now to our properties. Okay. So next we're going to look at how now to create a function. So I say def move, that we just have self. Okay. Then I'm going to return I am walking or running. Okay. So if you want now to initialize the object, you say x equals to person. Okay. And then here you can say name is test, then age is 20. Okay. So for you to print now your name, you say print x dot name, then print x dot age. Okay. So if you run that, you're going to get test and 20. Okay. So for you to print your function, I'm going to say print x dot move. Okay. And there you have I'm walking. Okay. So this is the best way of how to initialize your properties. So if you want to create another object, it's easy, because you just go and copy this. Okay. Then paste and change this maybe to y, or you can just leave it and say y John. Okay. 21. Okay. And it becomes y dot name y dot age, sorry, and here y dot move. Okay, so that becomes easy. Okay, unlike when you have already initialized the name and age in the upper class, which is not the optimal way. So that's the easy way of how to create a class, and the best and optimal way of how to create a class in Python. We are going to look at inheritance. Okay, so inheritance is whereby we have a parent class and a child class. In real life we have a parent and also we have a child. So a child inherits properties from a parent. So we're going to look the same in Python. Okay, so we're having a parent class which is person. So you can also have a student or a farmer is also a person. Okay, so those ones we're going to reference them as child classes or objects. Okay, so you can have a class, let's say student. Okay, and for you to pass the properties of the parent class, you pass a person as a parameter. Okay, and then here you just write pass. So in doing that, now that we don't want to write anything in this class, we have done what? We've just passed what we call pass. Okay, so a parent class is normally called a base class, and a child class is normally called a derived class. So person is a base class, and student, okay, is a derived class. Okay, so for us now to print the object of a student, or to get the object of a student, we say student is equal to student, then here we pass, here we had name and age. Okay, so here we'll say I'm a student, then I'm 21 years. Okay, so we can print, okay, the name student dot name. Okay, and you can also print student dot age. Okay, so if you run this, what are you going to get? I am a student and the age is 21. Okay, so that's how we inherit the parent class when we're in the child class. Okay, so you might also want to initialize properties in your child class. Okay, so in doing that, you are going to override the properties in the parent class. Okay, so you say there underscore init self, then you can use something like year. Okay, just something like yeah, year. Okay, so in doing that, then you can say assign self dot year, okay, equals to year. Okay, so there we have overridden, okay, our parent class. Okay, so if you say year is 2020, okay, self dot year. Okay, let's comment this. What are you going to get? You're going to get 2020. What if now we call the name, like for example here, what are you going to get? You're going to get an error. Why? Because if you use init function, okay, inside your child class, is going to override the init function in your parent class. Okay, so in doing that, you are going to get an error because this is not defined in our child class. Okay, so to make sure that the child class has the properties of the parent class, okay, when you have used the init function in the child class, what do? You get the name of the parent class, which is person, then you say dot init, okay, underscore init. Okay, so there we had self, then we had name, okay, then we had age. Okay, now that they are not defined in our init, we just go and add them. Okay, name then age. Okay, so that will pick automatically. So if you come here and run print d.name, d.age, and then here in our student function we add what? The name, which is a new name. Okay, then our age, which is 19. Okay, so if we run this, we are going to get 2020, new name, and 19. So that has worked perfectly. So it's not a must for you to use the the word person or the name of the parent element, you can use the word super, okay, or the function super. Then you remove self, okay, so that it picks automatically. If you run this, you're going to get the same result, okay. So that's all that you have on inheritance. So if you have any question, let me know in the comment section below. Also, if you like this tutorial, kindly give it a thumbs up. Also, if you're not subscribed, kindly subscribe. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something.